You know, even the dark chapters were instructive and
Mm-hmm.
opened different doors from any I might have without the blacklist. For one thing, I discovered the outside world. Until I stopped working, I only knew movies and plays and broadcasts and telecasts. And lo and behold, there's all that other.
You started to travel and learn about conditions in other countries?
Oh, yeah, the trip around the world was in 55. I had done a play in Australia for 4 months, at the end of which my Robert flew to Manila, and I flew north from Australia to meet him there, where I had made a movie a year earlier on location in the Philippines.
Hmm.
And from there we went around the world together. And of course I've never been the same since. It was the experience. And to go around the planet and see and taste and smell and watch
And grow.
all of it.
And
All
grow.
of it.
I love your attitude of learning from adversity. If you choose to, you can not just survive, but learn from it. That's great.
Oh, always, I think. Somewhere, somehow. Yeah. No, I'm the luckiest of people. Have been, still am.
Well, thank you
Well,
for
you
sharing.
darlings, this is lovely to visit. Oh, did we finish your 3 points?
Yes, we did, and
All three.
I'm going to call you back in a few days to tell you about the movie, and we'll chat some more about the MGM picture. And gosh, I could send you. I've got a bunch of your lobby cards. If you want to autograph something, I'll send you something.
Oh, sure, be happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. I'm happy to sign. That's all I do with fan mail. You know, it still comes in from all over the world, and they want my signature.
Well,
Well, they're welcome to it.
I don't want to impose, and I don't want to be a fan that just takes up your time. I want to be a friend.
You are a friend and have been for quite a while now. One I value.
Oh, thank you, dear. You made my day when you remembered who I was. That's delightful.
Both of you, of course.
Oh,
No, you have been so really faithful, reminding me you check in at holiday times or birthdays, and I'm always so touched that you haven't lost track of me.
well, you're
And you know,
unforgettable.
the work you do, I think, is impressive.
Well, we believe in the importance of the cultural significance of movies, the historical value of them, and
They're pervasive, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and there's such a
they really are.
touchstone. You can meet a stranger at a party, ask them what their favorite film is, and as they open up, you really get to know them, the way they see and
You're
feel
off and
things.
running.
Hmm.
You know, I have often cited that as the quickest shortcut through strangeness between and among people.
Hmm.
It's their common bond. In other countries, they know the films you've seen or been in or whatever. Yeah, it's a universal bond. It's a shared experience.
The stories that touch us and move us.
Yeah, we've all shared those same experiences. We can relive them together and comment on them. And it's a great unifier, I think.
I think it was Lillian Gish said that it was a universal language that makes people more humane when you understand what other lives are like.
Nicely put. You know, when I was very little, I kept hearing that name, and I didn't know what Lillian Gish, odd word, Gish,
Hmm.
might be.
A
But
French
people
name.
kept telling me I looked like Lillian Gish,
Hmm.
and I didn't know what she looked like.
It's your little
Finally,
nose.
I saw a few films, not films, just stills. Is that what I look like? Yeah, I didn't catch the resemblance, but apparently they said it was more an expression rather than features. I don't know what they have in mind, but I've been hearing about Lillian Gish from an early age. She was the poignant, emotional one, and Dorothy was the comedian,
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Yes, yes, that's the way that I thought of today. Yes.
Yeah, they both had good careers.
Well,
Well,
there's.
Larry, this is such a good visit. Let's do this again.
We will soon.
I'm near my phone anytime.
Well, thank you, love, for taking my call and sharing with me this delightful conversation. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I've enjoyed it so much. All right, and life is good for you. You're enjoying what you do.
Yes.
Good. Well, keep on with that. And your work is of great value. You're saving what Lillian Gish described so well. Tell me her definition again of movies.
She said that movies were the universal language, that they increased our humanity by understanding others' lives. They made us more compassionate.
Boy, that's beautifully put.
Mm-hmm. Universal language, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for repeating that for me.
Well, she and
I'll treasure that.
she and I carried on a torrid romance through the mail for about 10 years.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Really?
I would write her fan letters and she would write back to me, and we finally met and at a film festival, and up until
No kidding.
yeah.
She was way up in years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I met her she was 93 and
93.
right.
Still in control.
Yeah. She was in good shape. I think she lived all the way up to 100, and she was just a doll. When she appeared at Radio City Music Hall introducing her film The Wind, she walked out on stage carrying an orchid I had sent her.
Really?
And one of the cute.
Oh, that is so touching.
And one of the cute stories in the New York Times the next day was that a big fan of hers was in the audience that night by the name of Greta Garbo. People had spotted her there
Great fan.
because they had been friends.
Lillian Gish.
Yeah. Well,
That's fascinating.
well, they say that Garbo used to hang around on the sets when Gish was making a film to study her. And Gish,
Really?
yes, because Gish was the more successful star when Garbo came to this country. And they became friends. And a funny story.
Oh, did they? Yes?
A funny story. I met Bill Everson, who was a historian, writer, film professor at New York University, and I asked him about different celebrities he had met and known, like Katharine Hepburn, and I asked him about Lillian Gish, and he told me stories about her. And I asked him, did he ever meet Greta Garbo? And he said yes. He was visiting Lillian Gish in her apartment one day, and Garbo called wanting to know if she could come over. And Gish,
This is in New York?
in New York,
Yeah.
and Gish explained to Bill Everson that Garbo was so shy that she didn't want to meet anyone or see anyone. Would he mind leaving so Garbo could come over? And Bill said he understood. He had heard that she was shy and private, and he would leave. So he starts to walk out the back of the apartment. There was a kitchen door, a servant's entrance. And as he's walking out that door, Garbo is coming in. So I interrupted him. I asked him, I said, what did you say to Greta Garbo? And he paused and he said, I think I said, excuse me. And she replied, pardon me.
Personally?
And that was it. That was the only time he met her, and he didn't want to impose. So
That's nice.
he saw
You
her.
know, her car, her driver would pull up at MGM outside the hairdressing makeup department right around the time I would come to work. And again, our arrivals would almost coincide. And then, of course, somebody would come and drive our car off the lot, keep it all day at a gas station till we needed it to go home. But Garbo and I arrived at very similar times, again and again. She had an ancient Filipino, I think he was, driver, who would try to jump out of his driver's seat, and he would scuttle around the back of the car to try to get to the passenger side that she would be leaving, to open the door for her before she had already opened it and was striding up the walk to her makeup, her dressing room. And time after time, he would try that race, and she was always too quick for him.
I heard she was athletic, and he was just trying to do his job.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether it was just his job, but you could see the disappointment. Day after day, he kept trying to get that door open before she did. She, oddly enough, she invited me to her dressing room. I think it's in my book. Do you have my book?
No. What book?
Well, you must. I will get it to you.
Well, wait a minute.
It's full of photographs.
The way we wore.
The way we wore, yes.
Well,
there's a story about Garbo.
Oh.
In there. And, there are just 2 or 3 stories in a book of photos.
I want to,
Now, there's the story about Garbo. And interestingly, in New York, I forget which play I was doing, I was there long enough to rent an apartment, a duplex, and our rear window on, I think, 52nd Street, backed up to a 51st Street building, and our rear windows faced each other, and there was Garbo in her living room to be watched out my rear, I think my dining room window. And she never thought of pulling the blinds except facing the street, I guess. So anytime I wanted to watch Garbo come and go and sit and visit with friends, I could do that. And it's so interesting because we never met after the time she had me to her dressing room, because Sidney Gilleroff wanted her to cut those famous long, lank locks of hers. And he was recommending what he had invented on my head and named the feather cut, short, with a smooth crown and little curls around it, like a cherub. And he was trying to persuade her to shear those locks. And she said, well, if I could see what you're describing. So one day Paul came on the set while I was shooting. Could I be excused long enough from my film to go to Miss Garbo's dressing room so she could see my hairstyle? And I did. And she had her hair cut for the first time. And I guess, I don't know how she wore it thereafter. But that was her story. She called me, come in, and gave me a handshake that was a knuckle crusher, a very heavy handshake, and really sincere. And then when she had me stand in front of her mirror and turn around, and then she said to Sidney Gilleroff, the hairstylist, but of course, a Botticelli cherub. And she cut her hair. So Sidney and my haircut persuaded her.
Wow. That's
I never
wonderful.
knew her. I just backed up to her apartment in New York.
Well, I need to apologize. I have a copy of The Way We Wore, but I read it 20 years ago and I forgot. You'll have to forgive me. I'm getting up in years. I'm 58. I forgot.
Oh, well.
I forgot reading that story about Garbo.
You are entitled to forget. It's not a world-shaking account.
But
I'm delighted you have it. You should have it, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's wonderful, and I thank you for sharing your Garbo story. That's why I want to call back. You have so many wonderful stories.
Oh, good. Well, it's a joy to talk and visit again with you. Feel free, anytime.
Thank you, Marsha.
I'm mostly here these days. All right, till next time.
Till next time. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for calling.
God bless you.
Good night, Larry.
Good night, Marsha.